did, but the documents are in my office. Everyone in court laughed out. Agabi, after you received the Attorney General of the Federation's directives, the charges were again amended. Witness, I am just an investigator. I am not aware of the contents of the charges, my lord. Agabi, in that directives, the Attorney General of the Federation already had given you his conclusion. Did you issue reports after that investigation? Witness, yes, I did. Agabi, I put it to you that charges remain the same after the directives of the AGF, Attorney General of the Federation. Witness, I do not know how, my lord. Agabi, now I put it to you that you were influenced by Attorney General of the Federation's letter. Witness, no, my lord. Agabi, Southwest governors came together and agreed to form a vigilante group. Witness, I am aware the governors did so. Agabi, did you get a letter from Attorney General of the Federation to complain about the killings of innocent people? The witness, I am aware the Southwest governors formed Amotekun. At that point, the cross-examination, right, ended. In which, because they claimed that there were some documents that they expected to have been given to them, the defense, before today, but they were not given to them. So they would have kind of like scrutinized it, check it, say, where have you before, they can, admit it or reject it whatsoever. So because of that, the court has now adjourned to the 21st and 22nd of this month. Star witness, I do not know. I am not aware. I don't know, my lord. I don't know how, my lord. So that tells you what you need to know. So what exactly do you know, Mr. Star Witness? What? You must know something, right? It is not about knowing anything. The message is just keep him in detention. It is so hard that they couldn't kill him anymore. The last time that they made together what they called a bail arrangement for Nnamdi Kanu, it didn't last months before they attempted to kill him. Before they attempted to kill him, right? He granted an interview. That interview, for those of you who have managed to live in your own fool's paradise, that Nnamdi Kanu is misleading the people, or misled the young people, this and that. Maybe if you watch this, it's an old one as well. Maybe this will remind you that he's a guy who seems to have all his, his path cleared, or sort of like already written for him. A man, right, that I believe was so clear-headed enough that his message are so convincing that that hand him this level of loyalty, trust, followership with dedication and loyalty. What is Biafra? That's what Gaderia asked him about 5 years ago.
What does Biafra mean?
It means freedom, liberty, fairness, equity, and justice.
In practical terms, these are very good sounding words, but in practical terms, what does Biafra mean?
Confederation.
So, a weak center,
very weak,
very strong regions.
Absolutely.
Have you had a change of mind, therefore, about getting an independent Biafra? Because that's what I seem to be hearing.
No, I've not changed my mind, no. And independent Biafra means going back to where we were before the white man came.
Okay, so you're not talking about a federation when you say a confederation. You're not talking about a federation as part of Nigeria. You're talking about total independence.
Absolute independence.
Complete independence. Now, is there anything that can happen that will make you change your mind about this particular direction?
No.
So it is either Biafra or nothing else?
Or death, yes.
Or death?
That's correct.
If push comes to shove,
Yes.
will you go to war?
No, because truth is a far more potent and deadlier weapon than bullets and mortars.
So
Truth.
no war? You've ruled out the...
Absolutely, I don't believe in war. No war. When I say Biafra or death, I'll keep pushing. Either I am alive, I die in the process, I won't stop. Allow me to repeat, if you don't mind. Had sovereign national conference been convened by the powers that be, where every ethnic national, I said every, I don't care if there are 600, I don't care. Everyone is
all the 500 plus.
Everyone together to say this is all, others can delegate, I don't know, powers to other people to attend on their behalf. Sit down to say, what type of country do we want? Sit down, discuss, agree. I can begin to perhaps submit to your position.
Is it too late?
It is way too late. They've killed too many people. They've ruined too many lives. They've wasted too many souls. How do we bring those people back?
If the federal government, given the agitation that is going on, becomes convinced that, you know what, these people have a point, it is time to actually address all these issues, and they begin to systematically address some of these issues, would you change your mind?
No, because of the deceptions of the past.
No trust.
No trust. Aburi was there, it was negotiated. Nothing happened. 1968, if I recall. And the confab report, what became of it? How about the 3 R's? Reconciliation, reconstruction, and heaven knows what else. What became of them? Nothing. Calabar Seaport is not working. Can you tell me why it's not working? It's a seaport used by the colonial masters. Why is it not working today? How about Iguacha Seaport? Why is it not being used? Why not worry? Why must we allow only Lagos to function as a viable seaport? In England, where I used to live, you had Liverpool, you had Bissau, which is Portsmouth, Southampton, everywhere. You had harbors and ports. So why must you have only one?
I've heard people say these are very valid arguments, and that these are things that are to do with bad governance. So the average Biafran, to use your phrase, or Igbo man in the Igbo, is facing poverty much in the same way that the average guy in Yobe State is facing poverty. And so these are issues of governance. You don't agree with that?
I agree completely.
Okay. So if that is it, why isn't the agitation about tackling the problem, which is ensuring good governance, perhaps starting from locally? Because part of the allegations against you is that you don't confront your political leaders in the East, and you'd like to blame Abuja for everything.
Because the way I would want to solve a problem is not how a Fulani man will want to solve it.
You really believe this is an ethnic thing, and the
ethnic.
approach is different?
No, the approach is different. No, it's not ethnic. It is more to do with value system.
Right.
The way you may want to solve a problem could be markedly different from how I do mine.
What is the geographical makeup of Biafra, as far as you are concerned, this Biafra that you want? So, for example, if we're doing a referendum, where will that referendum take place? Is it only the 5?
It's on, no.
It's okay.
It's on, which is River State, Bayelsa, Delta, Anambra, Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Cross River.
Akwa Ibom?
And Akwa Ibom, of course. Yes.
Right.
Those are the coasters. Basically,
Bayelsa?
yes. Southeast and South-South without Edo State.
Without Edo State.
That's correct. And then including Igede, Idoma.
Right, the Benues. So the Igalas and part of the Kogi,
yes.
Kogi
Yes.
State, right?
Yeah.
Nyesom Wike, the governor of Anambra, sorry, the governor of River State, made a statement, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday,
Yes, I heard about it.
and said you should not be including River State
It's for
and
the people
the
of River State
Queer
to decide,
people.
not him. I can't decide for Biafrans. You have to go and vote and convince the whole world that they want Biafra. It's not for instance, there's only one man, one vote.
What if they're not even willing to take part in the referendum? Because I've had people from the South, for example, from Bielsa. I've had people from Cross River. I think there's a famous actress, Kate Henshaw, for example, wrote a long piece about why people of the South don't want to be dragged into a place called Biafra. You're saying, regardless of what they say, you want a referendum in those parts?
Because I know the majority of the people want a referendum. I was in Iguacha yesterday.
How do you know?
I was there yesterday. I was in Iguacha yesterday. You call Port Harcourt. I was there yesterday. I should have been there to see what happened.
Now,
They were delighted to see me. I'm sure you know that. It's all over the place. They're very happy to see me. I bet Kate Henshaw wouldn't get such reception. Where she to go to?
she's a big, popular Nollywood actress. I wouldn't necessarily.
I'm telling you, if I go to her village, people will turn out to see me more than turn out to see her.
But that was Nnamdi Kanu about 6 or so years ago. This was when they gave him that temporary bail. He's very clear-headed. He said it. He said, listen, the people in these areas I've mentioned, they will be the one to decide if they want to participate in a referendum or not. And as for Nigeria, why don't you let everyone come together and decide if they still want to be together or not? Very simple. Yeah? Nnamdi Kanu. So that, and when he was asked if the poverty in Eastern Nigeria is different from the poverty in Northern Nigeria, like an average people suffering, trying to get by their life, right? He agrees. He said, yeah, the poverty is poverty. It's not that different. But you can't expect us to face and solve our problems the same way. It has to do with a value system. So what you value is what you are going to prioritize, right? If your value is to focus on increasing religion, great. And these ones want to focus on improving education, industrialization, or what have you, right? So however everyone wants to solve theirs, they can. And that is why you can see that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this Biafra. And he's very right. You see, most of the places where they will tell you that we are not Biafra, we are not this and that, so Nnamdi Kanu visited some of those places. All these South states, it was in most of them, that temporary period. And indeed, it was like magic. You know, for some of you who are young, you may not understand why they talk about systemic marginalization or the systemic profiling of the Igbos. You see, after the war, after their genocidal war, okay, people who were Igbos, do you understand? Those who were Igbos or who have anything to do with Igbo at all, they were denouncing, they like denouncing their Igbo ancestry. Because it was more or less like, if you survive not being killed by the military, some communities may just come together and say, you be Igbo, may then kill you. And that is why you see those your great-grandpas, they are so passionate about trying to debunk any connection, any relationship that they might have with the Igbos, any ancestral DNA connection. But when Nnamdi Kanu came, it can't be like say, he just pulled the wool off everybody's eyes. Here you get all these ones who are now shouting, they are outside, don't bring your Biafra here, or this militancy, this and that. Nnamdi Kanu was actually there. When Nnamdi Kanu was in Port Harcourt, he calls the place Ugocha. Is that what you call it? Ugocha? Right? When he was there, where the Wike couldn't do anything. He was there. He was everywhere that time. So people who were so afraid to identify as Igbos, everybody started coming out from their shell, confidence. They're not afraid of anybody anymore. They're not scared of anybody. If you talk anything, you see, if he told them, he said, listen, go and sign up and join Twitter. That was when Twitter This was like about 10 years ago. Go and join Twitter. That is where information is the key. They are going to use social media as they have been using the conventional media to manipulate you, change narratives, change the stories for decades, from generations to generation. From your own end, it will stop. Baba, Nnamdi Kanu turned the supposed, the uninterested Igbos who are not interested in politics, who are not interested in anything, because all these things are politics too. I'll show you guys, all politics. So those who are just interested in counting money, they have no idea how people can actually use system. To them, they're like, as you are coming after us, we are going to be multiplying. We are Igbos. We know they die. It was Nnamdi Kanu who made them realize that you have that voice. Use it. Today, when the Biafrans, when the IPOB became so active on social media, a lot of people who claim to be this prominent, that they are always avoiding them. Remember now, before the obedience came, right? The IPOB for real, under Nnamdi Kanu, everybody feared them. President of your country, Bukwari, was afraid of them. It got so bad that Bukwari had to threaten them. That Twitter had to kind of like delete Bukwari's tweet in reply because of IPOB. Bukwari, I bet you like it was because of them now. Dotting the cycle. Bukwari got suspended. Twitter in Nigeria because of them. Nnamdi Kanu, he weaponized the information that most people have weaponized right before now. He did so well enough that people started ascribing so many things to him. Like it became like an extra, when they say extraterrestrial being. Like he became like superhuman being. That when you see the caliber of people, successful people, their choruses, his name. Some of those who are like his opposition or those who don't like him, they always be so wondering, what did he give them? What did he defeat them? I don't know what he give them. People say meanwhile, all he gave to them was to tell them the truth and even tell them to go and verify the truth. When everybody started verifying what has happened, they became more mad. And that's what you have today. Angry people, because they now understand what Nigeria did to their parents and what Nigeria is doing to them. Thanks to Nnamdi Kanu. So his message is very clear. The owner of Nigeria don't want that place to be torn apart. As much as they are already they've turned it into, what do you call it, a wasteland. That the people have been like, people will say, if I want to come to this world again, I don't want to come as a Nigerian. I say, really? No thanks to the rogues that you call your leaders. So we shall meet again on the 21st, 22nd, as they bring more of their witnesses on trumped up charges. And when everything is said and done, we can sing this together.
Oh, you do I call. Oh, Mary, Abakare, Mama Daora, Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi go onye du aimo o meri woni nizu mbiro ya Abakare Mama Daora Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's 1, Python that's 2, now Python that's 3. Unapuri Mary Nnamdi.
Thank you. We are still in the southeast of Nigeria, by the way. Have you heard the latest? Nigeria is a place, like Cham would say, Nigeria is a place that is giving and that keeps giving. In what Yoruba we call Lole, they call you thief.